Hey guys, for the muddiest point for chapter 5, drum roll, we get the Principate and Augustus. Okay, so Augustus, remember, he had been Octavian. It's not my fault that these things are confusing with a name change. When Julius Caesar was killed, those guys in the Second Triumvirate went after some of the senators who had had Caesar killed, and after Actium, Mark Antony is killed there, and Octavian is renamed Augustus, meaning like worthy of honor, the regal one. Our month of August is named for him, so July is named for Julius Caesar. Our month of August is named for this guy. So as it says in the book, worthy of honor, but he's also princeps. So the first man or first citizen, this is where we get the word principal from. The main guy, the principal reason, the principal at an elementary school, the main leader there. So that word comes from Augustus too. So the Principate is this time where Augustus has been strategic because he knows what happened to Julius Caesar. I mean, he knows if he takes too much power, the Senate is technically still there, can have him killed, just like they had his adopted dad, Julius Caesar, killed. So the Senate is still there, but we're in this position where he is the sole ruler. So the Principate is this time when Octavian has taken power as the first man, the first citizen there. And he ushers in the Pax Romana. So what that time means is the literal translation into English is the peace of Rome. Rome has been at war for a long time, as we saw in before with Julius Caesar, and then before that with guys like Marius. We've had the Punic Wars. It's just been a mess. So this is a pretty long period of stability. There's just not as much fighting. There's a lot of publicity, like PR stuff going on. This is an example of just with some of the art. You see people trading, getting along, selling things. The economy is good. There's a lady giving this kind of creepy looking kid an orange or an apple, something like that. So you want to advertise it. Today sometimes you see those bumper stickers or t-shirts that says life is good. During the Pax Romana, the phrase was kind of bread and circuses. That would be the thing. There's plenty of food, plenty of entertainment. Life is good. So there's this long time of the Pax Romana, of the peace of Rome, with Augustus, because he rules for so long. He is largely associated with this, and it talks about some of the reasons, like especially on page 127 in your book, that this is a peaceful transition with what's going on within the empire and the city. Talks about some of his reforms. He would be kind of like the family values guy, which is a little ironic because he wasn't so much that way, but he liked the religious aspects of Roman life. He wanted people to get married. There were higher taxation rates for men who didn't get married. Divorces were difficult to obtain. There were punishments for adultery. In the case of his own daughter, kind of like Julius Caesar had one daughter, Augustus did too, and he had to actually expel his daughter or kick her out of Rome because she was quite promiscuous. Oh, it does mention that too on page 127. So, he had to do this within his own family, even though Augustus had some relationships with other women going on. But this conservative time in the reign of Augustus, very patriotic in this sense during the principate of Augustus. This is just, it's not in the book, but just a sample of more of that PR, those public relations, trying to say, hey, here's who we are. When it mentions building ancient temples, an altar, you're going there to make sacrifices to the Roman gods or to whichever gods, if there's an altar. And here you see this whole public family setting. It's not just these men going, but you've got kids kind of lovingly holding on to their dad's togas or hands. You've got women with their heads covered who are appearing here. So this family stuff, it's very strategic on the part of Augustus, as that's been happening. And then he really changes the role when he dies in the year 14 CE, like the book says, or AD, if you're old school, meaning the high priest. Okay, a pont is a bridge in some of those Romance languages. Like if you go to Paris, there's the famous Pont Neuf, the ninth bridge. It's a bridge builder between the gods, but a high priest. That becomes a big deal as well, because you're creating even more power for the emperors after him. Not only are you the person in charge of the government and those decisions, but you're the high spiritual leader of the nation. You're putting more weight on those Roman gods, which is going to be a big deal when Christianity enters the scene. You're also saying that the previous emperors, so starting with Julius Caesar, were gods themselves when they die. So this power that the Roman emperors will have even after they die. So this whole transition has really happened with Augustus, to where power is secured within that one person, and that one person continues to hold that power. And it was a stable time during Augustus, so this big transition markedly happening with stability, peace, religious reforms, Roman patriotism, and really powerful people in office. Hope that helps.